Politics is 24/7, 365. We're going to talk about one exciting race here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on this episode of the CRUDE Truth.
In 1901, at Spindletop Hill near Beaumont, the future of Texas changed dramatically as, like a fountain of fortune, thousands of barrels of oil burst from the earth towards the sky. Soon, Detroit would be cranking out Model Ts by the millions, and America was on the move, thanks to the black gold being produced in Texas. Now, more than a century later, the vehicles are different, but nothing else has truly changed. Sure, there may be many other alternative energy sources like wind and solar and electric. But let's be honest, America depends on oil and entrepreneurs, and if the USA is truly going to be independent, it has to know the crude truth.
NAPE is a proud sponsor of the CRUDE Truth. Be sure to register for the NAPE Expo 2024, February 7th through the 9th at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. Hurry and register today. NAPE, where deals happen.
This episode is brought to you by LFS Chemistry, committed to being good stewards of the environment and providing the tools so you can be too. NAPE Expo, where deals happen. Air Compressor Solutions. When everything is on the line, Air Compressor Solutions is the dependable choice to keep commercial business powered up. Sandstone Group. Exec Crew. Elevate your network, elevate your knowledge. Oil and Gas Workers Association. Pecos Country Operating. Fueling our future.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you're listening or watching to another episode of The CRUDE Truth. I say thank you very, very much. As in my teaser, politics is a game that we are playing 24/7 now, 365 days a year. However, it is very important on the individuals that we choose to represent us. And today I have on an individual that is running in a heavily contested Democratic district here in North Texas. I have a man that is not afraid to get in there and talk to his voters about the issues and fight for them. I have a man today. His name is Kurt Schwab. Kurt, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for coming over here to Fort Worth. Fort Worth is in your district, of course.
Correct, yes.
But you are running right now for, and I always have to write it down, Texas Congressional District 33 here in, basically that covers part of Fort Worth over into Grand Prairie. Is that correct?
It goes much further than that.
Oh, it does.
It goes Dallas, Capel, Farmers Branch, Bishop Arts, Forest Hill, Everman. I mean, it's crazy.
That is a big district. I didn't know they get, especially being here in the DFW area, I didn't know it crosses that.
And that's just on the east side.
Yeah, what's on the west side?
On the west side, you have North Fort Worth, parts of South Fort Worth. You have a little bit of Arlington, Grand Prairie, a little bit of Haltom City, a little bit of Euless and Bedford. And it's just, when does it stop?
That is one heck of a area right there that you're covering. I mean, and that's just local. That's just local. Well, here I was, here just a second ago, kind of just highlighting how you're going to be fighting for individuals there in this district. But I want to let everybody know you've actually been fighting for this country for over 20 years. You're an Air Force vet, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And you flew C-130s.
Yes, best job ever.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I had one of those growing up, the big plastic ones. And
well, I have to tell you, Lockheed Martin is the manufacturer of the C-130.
Okay.
And if you have any Lockheed Martin employees listening, I have to tell you that airplane has saved our butts many times, and I can't thank those folks enough.
Wow. Well, I see them. I used to live in Lake Worth, and so I used to see those big ones touch down, and I think they would touch down and go back up or doing training or something.
Yeah, we used to call it flying the flagpole.
Okay.
Because all you're doing is just going around.
Really?
Yeah, it's just practice, touch and goes. We used to call them crash and dash.
Okay.
So it's just, a little bit of terminology.
Well, how long did it take y'all to even set one up to for cold turkey, it being turned off to be up in the air? How long is that? Because those are not small planes.
Right. Without cargo, about 3 hours.
Wow.
Right. And that's from crew brief to your inspection, your checklist.
Yeah.
All of the checklist after that, the crew comes out. You go through all the safety briefings, and then you get the thumbs up from your crew chief, and then it's finally time to. It takes about 10, 15 minutes to start engines.
Yeah.
And then away you go.
Wow. I've never asked that question before, and I'm just kind of curious because, I mean, you just see them in the air and it looks so quick, and I use the word quick and
Yeah.
but just so flawless up there. And
Right.
it's like these things are gigantic. Unless you're standing next to one, you really don't ever know. I mean, it's called the Hercules, for goodness sake.
Right.
And so yeah, no, just kind of a piece of random. But you were in the military for almost 20 years.
Correct.
And where were you stationed at?
And boy, I started my flying career in Florida, Patrick Air Force Base. Our unit, one of the main missions was to help support the space shuttle when it was flying.
Okay.
But it was search and rescue was our mission.
Wow.
So we've been to Florida, Denver, up at Colorado Springs, California, March Air Base, all over the place.
So how would y'all assist with the search and rescue? What were y'all? How did y'all assist with and those?
So the RCC, which is the Rescue Control Center. So if somebody was out in the water and they needed help, they had a beacon that they would activate.
Yeah.
It would go to the RCC. Or if you're a ship, obviously the captain would activate. So RCC contacts the closest search and rescue unit that's available. Once we find out all the details, we go out, and there are certain patterns that we train for: zigzag, circle, whatever that needed to be done.
Yeah.
And that, search and rescue is never fun in real life.
No.
But I have to say the fun part to it is we'd open up the ramp and door, and we'd get to sit on the edge of the ramp as we're scanning.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. We deploy rafts to them, or food, or whatever the case was.
Okay.
And then we would stay on point until
They got there.
Yeah.
Other help got there.
Right.
So y'all were doing airdrops. Is that
Yes.
the correct term? Again, thank you for your service from me.
Yeah.
I was not in the service, so I don't know very many terminology, and what I know is from movies. And I listened to a guy the other day on another podcast, some small one called Joe Rogan, and he was talking about that. Basically, all military movies, are basically almost 100% wrong.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
So I guess Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Sylvester Stallone's dark. I guess those aren't accurate.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
So that's what I'm asking. So thank you so much. Well, I want to transition with the word there with the search and rescue to what I believe right now is that Texas needs rescue. And I need to know, and I know this is not one of my, I'll put you on the spot. I did not even ask you this or tell you, but what made you want to wake up one morning and decide to run for a heavily Democratic district? Okay. What made you want to do that?
I've lived in the district about 10 years.
Okay.
I've watched a little bit at a time. Our district has been stagnant. We have more homeless out on the street at the corners. We have more people that are on food stamps. We have people looking for jobs. We have people that can work and don't want to work, and that needs to change.
Yeah.
We need to get the economy growing and moving forward again for our district, and not for only the district, but for the people.
Right. Well, okay. So what are some of your thoughts and your ideas and your plans on how to build up this area? And because, I mean, again, it's such a big area that you're going to cover. And I would think that it's like, okay, why isn't this area already growing? Because for people that don't know, I had a chance to, like I said, look at it. You follow part of Highway 30. Is it 30?
30 corridor almost.
30 corridor.
Right.
What a busy corridor, for
Right.
goodness sake. So, let's talk about maybe some of the ideas and plans that you want to do in this corridor.
Well, I don't know about you, but myself, I hate going to a heavily traffic area.
Okay.
So it seems we've had all this construction around town, but by the time it's finished,
Yeah.
we're already needing an upgrade,
Yes.
or they didn't widen it enough, so our infrastructure needs to be changed. We have people looking at that. We don't know the exact details or how we could fix that. I remember growing up as a kid, I always heard about highways being stacked. And maybe if that's what we need, that's what we need. As the traffic moves forward, that's going to allow people to think, I don't mind the drive because it's not so much traffic. Now I can go to work in Dallas if I live in Grand Prairie, or if I go to North Fort Worth, and then if I live in Euless.
Yeah.
But it needs to change. And that's just one of the ideas that we have.
Okay. And, I definitely the traffic and the construction that's going on right now, there is a lot of it. And absolutely, with as many people are moving into the area, how can you help out with bringing, promoting that, well, we'll call it the 30 corridor.
Sure.
That 30 corridor as a place for people to come in, move, live, and bring their families.
Yeah. Well, one of the points that we're running on is bringing space programs to the area.
Okay.
Buzz Aldrin, if you remember him, second man to walk the moon. He's a good friend of mine. We talked quite a bit.
Okay.
With him being a former astronaut, he and I have always talked about trying to get a simulator program going to help veterans with PTSD, get it back into closed spaces, and then with the simulator being out in the desert and getting them back out there, kind of helping them that way. But with the space program, they can help with that. But if we bring space programs or space manufacturing to maybe not the district, but just the area, we can create more jobs. Right. Now, another point is small business. We need to help the small business. So when the space programs come in, of course, we're going to help them with tax breaks. But the caveat to that is they have to set aside so many, let's say $20 million just for a number. They have to set that money aside for the people in the area to apply for a grant, a no repayback grant.
Okay.
So now we have a new small business. Now we have an opportunity for more jobs. But the caveat to them giving the loan, the company has to hire that new small business that's affiliated with the company, whether it be logistics, landscape, cleaning, whatever the case may be. So that small business now has a contract for, say, 3 to 5 years. So now it's guaranteed. So it allows that company to grow.
Man, that would be nice. I mean, anyway, some people may jump on me, but I think trickle down works to some. I'm trying to, this is my show. What am I afraid of? I think trickle down works.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong, I think, with that right there. And to help out another person start their own company, because that's what we are here in Texas. We're entrepreneurs, for goodness sakes. We fight, we believe, and definitely what we believe in, and we stand tall. And so for people to have that opportunity and then say, man, I've got not only did I get a grant to start this company, but then to actually physically show to some other of these other business SBA people, Small Business Association or Authority or whatever they're called, hey, I've got a 5-year contract with this great company that's part of, basically part of a government contract.
Right.
That's a guarantee right there.
Right, exactly.
And then that not only hires jobs, like you said, at the big manufacturer that comes in, but then for that small company. And then, I mean, it's a community at the end of the day. And it sounds like that is something you are heavily focused on, is really just bringing up the community.
We need to get the community back together on all fronts. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Right now, it seems like we're so divided. Fort Worth doesn't like the affiliation with Dallas, and vice versa. Dallas doesn't like Fort Worth. And we need to change that. The area in between the two major cities is growing.
Yes.
Before we used to see open land, and now we see construction closing in on us. So at some point, we need to bring everybody together as a whole.
We do, and I've really actually kind of never thought about that, because again, I've lived in both. Well, I've lived in both Dallas downtown, Fort Worth downtown, And, it's always funny to hear the people, both sides say what they want. But you're absolutely right that with the corridor, because as I'm thinking here on the spot, we technically have 3 of these corridors. And, I don't know if you touched the 21, but with your district,
Very, very little.
very little.
When it goes south.
But there are 3 different corridors:
Yeah,
20,
20,
30,
30, 183.
183.
Yeah.
And
really 4, because it goes far north because we hit a little bit of 635.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is important that we kind of start to work together because, I always have considered the 183 part the mid-cities area.
Right.
And you're touching Euless, Bedford, and then you've got parts of Grand Prairie. I mean, all these areas are great areas that could
Grand
really,
Prairie, Irving.
yeah, you can all use some love. And you are absolutely right. They have been stagnant because as much as, North Fort Worth is doing great, North Dallas is doing great, can you be that fighter for these areas to do this?
The only way to answer that question is if somebody's willing to step up and try, that's all they can do. And that's what I'm doing. One of the things, the other infrastructure problem is, the tollways. I don't know if you know this, but the tollways are outsourced to not only outside the state, but outside the country.
Spain, right?
Spain, I think, is one. That's just one of them.
That's just one? I didn't know that.
So the money that's being made on the tollway, is divvied out and given to another country's company. Why is that? We need to keep that money here. Imagine the money that we're giving away to another company that we probably helped finance to begin with.
Probably.
What if we kept that money here? Imagine what we could do. Imagine with 1 month a year, we took all the money and put it towards education. We need, in the education world, we need to work on teacher safety in the classrooms. I have a friend of mine who is a Arlington ISD school teacher. One of her students last year just beat the heck out of her. She's had 5 surgeries. So now she's done being a teacher. She doesn't want any part of it. I mean, she's okay now. She's still coming around, but she's better. That shouldn't happen. I've got another friend. He's a school teacher down south, and he was told if students get in a fight, don't touch them.
What?
They have to call the police. Even the security folks, I was told that they can't get involved because now they're going to say that they put their hands on their kids and so forth.
Right.
But the stuff needs to change. We need to support our teachers, our educators, better, more. Yeah. When does it stop?
Well, you touch, your district is also in several of the bigger ISDs here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. What are you out there telling voters right now? What are you telling them? Or more importantly, let me take back that question. What are you hearing from voters right now that they need and that they would like to see moving forward?
They ask me who the incumbent is. And I tell them, and I say, he's been in there for 10 years. And before I can go any further, the words out of their mouth, out of let's just say everybody, first words, too long. He's been in for 10 years. Okay. Too long.
Wow.
So we need new people, new leadership. We need fresh ideas. And that's the only way we're going to get this thing moving forward. Yeah. One of the biggest things that we hit on is the border and immigration. Where do you start there? There's so much wrong. So many things wrong with it. First of all, why are we paying for medical and housing and food and paying more for security to watch those people? I mean, that's just more money out of our pocket. Sending the illegals on a bus to another city. Mm-hmm. That's fine. It gets them away from us, but there's a problem.
So problem. Yeah.
Now they're going to be on the street corners begging for money. Yeah. Somebody's still going to pay for the health care. They're going to probably be able to apply in some states for financial aid.
Yeah.
So we're back to square one. You know, my theory is why don't we use those buses and take them right back to the border, to the entry? You know, they're going to keep coming back, but so be it.
Yeah.
But at least we're not housing them.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend the money on the buses and the fuel and the maintenance and take them right back.
I had thought about that one.
Yeah.
I thought about that at all. I was like, why don't we just take him back? We can sign a piece of paper and say, all right, you got to go back.
You know, when we travel outside the country,
Yeah.
we need a passport or a visa, regardless. I don't care who you are. Why is it so hard for people to understand? If you want to come to this country, you have to do the same.
I don't know. I mean, because the other thing is, if we go to another country, we have to follow all their laws and their rules. I mean, it just blows my mind. It's like I respect the other places and I respect their culture. I'm a guest in their home, and I think some people just don't see the same thing here. You know, and I think we need better laws. But you know, I know that's something. You know, this. Well, you mentioned there that you're that the individuals in your district are saying that's too long. You know, for those out there, how long is a term for a congressional member?
For the House, it's 2 years.
It's 2 years. And so that means he's already had to go through 5 campaigns. And you guys are, I mean, that's, God willing, you know, hey, you get elected, you'll go to session and then you'll just start right back campaigning again.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the session. What were your thoughts if you gave it a grade? And this is something I'm throwing out at you. What would you give the grade of the session we just had? You know, an A, B, C, or D?
You know, you gotta stay in the middle because there's some good stuff and there's some bad stuff.
Right.
Again, the problem is we have career politicians, and with career politicians, you're not going to get anywhere. You get new congressional staff in there, you know, you're going to have fresh ideas. That's what we need. That's what the country needs. You know, you got to remember, just because I'm running for District 33 here in Texas, doesn't mean that I can't say, oh, by the way, I can't help you because I'm only here for 33, and if it doesn't pertain to them, I'm done. No, we can't say that, because once I get elected, we're not only going to be helping Texans, we're going to be helping the entire country. So people have to think about that.
I love that. And speaking of Texans helping Texans, you are also part of and actually have a great foundation. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And it is long, so I wrote it down. It is the Veterans of Operation Iraqi and Enduring Freedom.
Correct.
And so we call it VOIF, VOIEF. And so tell me a little bit about your organization.
So I founded it in 2009. We started out helping veterans with basic needs, food, rent, and housing. As the time went on, there are so many other organizations out there. There's over 400,000 or 500,000 organizations out there that do the exact same thing.
Okay.
In my former life, I was a director of a USO, and under my direction, I had a mobile kitchen program.
Okay.
That we supported the military at homecomings, deployments, family day, whatever they came up with. The USO has canceled that program nationally. So the program is a very much needed program.
Yeah.
So we transitioned a couple of years ago to stop helping with food, rent, and utilities, and now transition to become a mobile kitchen program.
Okay.
So Humana Military, or Humana, has already deemed us the only veterans organization in Texas with a mobile kitchen program, and we're still working on raising money to get it built.
Wow. What a lot. First of all, I want to totally unpack this, you being the director of a USO, but also the fact of how you're leading this charge with helping out in something that I never knew that there were that these homecomings and that they got rid of that. I mean, that's kind of crazy there also.
Yeah.
And, you know, thank you for, I mean, shoot, so you've continued to serve even after you served. And that is awesome. That is awesome. And speaking of, okay, you've got your, you don't have it yet, but your food truck that y'all are working to raise money for.
Correct.
You have an awesome event coming up here. It's just not too far away. It's November 4th. And what's the event called?
This is the 3rd annual Vet Fest DFW.
Yeah.
This is our annual fundraiser to raise money for the mobile kitchen program. This year, we are blowing it out of the water. We're having music all day with multiple bands. We have a concert at night. Currently, I'm in talks with Coffee Anderson, local guy,
Okay.
and Tracy Lawrence sent me an email the other day. So we're going back and forth. We usually have sports, celebrities, actors. We'll have food trucks. We'll have reserved seating. We'll have a beer garden. We'll have what we call a Commander's Club Chalet, which is catered. So this event is run on sponsorship, and this year it's going to be on ticket sales as well.
Okay. November 4th, where's it going to be?
VFW Post 2494. It's in Grand Prairie. If you haven't been there, you need to go check it out, especially if you're a veteran.
Yes.
If you're not a veteran, go in there, tell them I sent you. They're great people up there.
Okay. What's the VFW Post again?
2494.
VFW Post 2494, and tell them Kurt Schwab sent you. I love it. I love it. Well, Kurt, as we get done and wrapping up here on the time, I want you to do me a favor and give me that, give me your, look into the camera and tell people why they need to vote for you. March 5th. That's when the primary is.
Correct.
March 5th. So look in that mirror and tell look in the mirror and not only March 5th, but in November also, on why you're the guy that can make the change in District 33.
I've been a leader all my life, gone from the military to leading a USO to leading a nonprofit here in Texas, and now I'm ready to lead the district. We need to get further ahead. We need to grow and grow for the right reasons. We need to stop being stagnant, get people off of food stamps. So I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for your support, either by volunteer or financially. So vote for me.
And where can they find your website?
It's Kurt Schwab, 4, Congress.com.
Well, Kurt, I cannot thank you enough. I wish you nothing but luck.
Thank you.
In your race. And I hope that you come out triumphantly, because getting to know you, I think it's been a blessing to meet you today, Kurt. I'll do a quick shout out to old Ola. I say old, I don't mean it like that. So sorry. To Ola Wame, who was able to introduce us. And I just wish you the best of luck. And thank you. And God knows that we need more leaders in America, and we need people like Kurt doing what they're doing as a civil servant.
Yeah.
Kurt, thank you so much.
I one more thing I want to say is, even though if you live in the district, that's great. If you still like what I'm doing, even if you don't live in the district, you can still support me. Go to the website or volunteer. I can tell you that we have support from across the country, from Washington State to Florida to Missouri, and then all over Texas. So it's
thank you.
Been a ride.
Yeah, well, I bet. I'm excited to see where it goes. Hopefully, maybe after you win the primary in March, I'd like to have you come back on to talk about that. But everyone out there, just we're in this together. We all have community service to do. Kurt, just thank you so much, and we'll see you here next time on another episode of The CRUDE TRUTH.
Again, thank you to our sponsors: LFS Chemistry, NAPE Expo, Air Compressor Solutions, Exec Crew, Oil and Gas Workers Association, Pecos Country Operating.
The easiest way to start your own podcast and TV show? Real News Communications Network. Stand out from your competition. Produce streams of high-quality social media content. Become a thought leader in your industry. With RNCN, you get to be the host. We handle everything else. Tour one of our 3 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Colony. Call 972-402-6333 or visit launchashow.com to find out more.